Good afternoon.
Top of the afternoon to you, young birthday boy.
Thank you. That is right.
Okay, Nick, I'm starting this at the top of the show. I'm going to sing to you.
Oh boy. Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nick. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
I was, you're welcome. I was going to buy a cupcake and
Oh,
light a candle
yeah.
and then blow out the candle and crush it myself, but that's too many carbs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's okay. I had some birthday cake. We did a little evening celebration last night just because it's a weekend. It's a little bit easier to do stuff. So I got to have my birthday cake last night.
What kind
I
of cake do you like?
um I don't like a lot of cakes. I mean, I like I'm picky about cakes I like, but I really love carrot cake. So,
Same here.
and my wife makes a pretty good carrot cake. Um,
Every year, that's my favorite.
yeah, yeah. So I get spoiled once in a while with some cool, either just basics, the good old fashioned just carrot cake, or a something unique that's, you know, over the top carrot cake. But otherwise, I like ice cream cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm big into those. And we have this thing. I think it's called like nothing bunt cakes or something like that, and it's just bunt
Yes, yes,
chocolate.
yes.
And it's a chain, and they're kind of pricey, but they're pretty decent. They're all right. And they have varieties of stuff that I like, the family likes. So we'll get those once in a while, and I can't complain about that kind of cake. But like just the traditional chocolate vanilla with all the frosting buttercream that you get at the grocery stores or Costco or whatever. I'm not into those as much. I can't. I mean, I'll might humor myself with a bite, but not into that as much.
I get it, but I got to tell you, Mary likes buttercream vanilla frosting on yellow cake
Oh,
on for her birthday.
yeah.
She just had her birthday a week ago.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Mary.
Exactly. Happy birthday to Mary.
Teach
And
the cancers.
what'd you say?
Oh, Cancer, our birth sign.
Oh, okay. And she I've been turned on to that.
Yeah,
It's a high quality grocery store with a high quality cake. So
good. Yeah.
I try to not eat too much of it, but she has stopped eating it, and there's still a lot of the cake left. So I'm like, well, slowly but surely, I'm nibbling through this.
Oh man. Yeah,
Can't throw it away.
my carrot cake won't make it past tomorrow. Yeah. So my wife makes a pretty good. Got a shout out to my wife. She makes a good, like, I like her carrot cake, and I mean, it's not all the frills and whatever. There's no like raisins in it or like some crushed nuts or anything, but she makes it, and she doesn't use any butter or oil. She uses crushed pineapple and applesauce as far as like
Huh.
gives it its moistness. Sorry for anybody who can't stand that word. I know it's a polarizing word. But
Right. Yeah.
when we're talking
Yeah.
about
I get
cake,
that.
it gives it a great texture. And of course, there's chopped up, you know, diced carrot in there, and all the cinnamony goodness, and the cream cheese frosting is real light, not too much sugar, but mainly just a cream cheese and Cool Whip, and I like it not over the top sweet. So it was just a perfect combination, and I can eat it for 3 meals a day.
Kudos to Carrie.
Yes,
Kudos to Carrie. Say
she
hello to her.
nailed it. She nailed it. Yes, cats up. Cancers are special people. Um, Exceptionally sensitive. That is so true. That is so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Very
so
good.
what do we got going on today?
A meditation. But before we go into the meditation, kind sir, I've got to show you. It's showing. but we're not doing a snapdragon.
Okay.
We're doing something else.
All right.
Too proud to not do it.
Radishes.
From the garden,
Nice.
pulled,
Nice.
pulled, an hour and a half ago.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, we've got radishes, we've got peas, snap peas, and we've got and which are, I think I'll be doing a nice harvest of those in about 2 days. And we
Uh-huh.
have squash, zucchini squash coming. I mean, I saw one that looks like it's about a day away from being mature
Well,
enough to
you
harvest.
know that I'm gonna completely you what when I saw your radishes, it reminded me of and I don't have anything on deck, but I do have a small quote that I was listening to that came from a poet this week. So there's a poet laureate who passed away this last week.
Andrea Gibson.
Yes, and I was reading and listening to some of her spoken word, um, and she starts off one of her pretty well, I guess, popular poems or spoken word presentations, and it says, "The nutritionist said I should eat root vegetables. Said if I could get down 13 turnips a day, I would be grounded, rooted." So shout out to rest in peace, Andrea Gibson, beautiful soul. They touched a lot of people with their words.
Right. I didn't know about them. She likes,
Yeah,
they like to be referred to.
yeah,
Uh, uh, I did not know about that poet until after the death, but I read a few poems and she outstanding.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish I would have. I heard some things, reels, whatever, and I'd seen their work before, but I didn't really. Just one of those things is like, oh, that's interesting. This person's unique and
Hmm.
has a very you can just a real good vibe, good energy. And so I was like, man. Uh, but then, of course, now that they passed, and it shed some light on the work that they did. I went and I actually ordered a couple of her books of collections, and so
You did?
I'll add those to mine. Yeah, through their store, um, they had they were all sold out. So I went through Button Poetry, which I think was produced just a bunch of work for her, or collaboration with her or with them. Um, and yeah, Button Poetry had some for sale, so I bought a couple through Button Poetry instead. But yeah, um, I thought about that as far as our upcoming show, but I didn't prepare any material to read from Andrea Gibson in honor of them. But like I
Next
said,
time.
that one line, because you showed me today, we're talking,
Rashes.
in the spirit of combining, right?
Yes.
We see root vegetables, and then we think of Andrea Gibson and this line: "The nutritionist said I should eat root vegetables. Said if I could get down 13 turnips a day, I would be grounded, rooted." Yeah, love it.
I love it. I love it. That's very, very good. And we lost Joanna Macy.
Oh,
Joanna was an eco activist, a
okay.
systems theorist,
Ah,
a Rilke scholar. She was grounded. It's so interesting. Her kind of triangular source was Rilke, the poet, um, systems theory, and Buddhism. And she read a book, very dry. I didn't really love it, on the how systems theory and Buddhism are very similar. Um, she did beautiful workshops,
okay.
um, around the world. She went to uh, Russia, where they had a nuclear reactor fallout.
Oh.
You remember that place? They had a
Hmm.
problem with a nuclear. She went and spoke and spent time, like a 3 day seminar or retreat or something,
Uh-huh.
with survivors of that. That was one
Gotcha.
place. She went to India, um, and spent time empowering people, you know,
Yeah.
and lived to be 93.
Wow.
Was still active up to 92.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really
Um,
cool.
are you looking her
Yeah.
up as we're talking?
I did. Yeah. I try not to look too much up and then be
While we're on the air.
focused over on another screen. Yeah. Chernobyl. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too, is Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. Chernobyl. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she spent time over there with those people and just, got around.
Hmm.
Bless her soul.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
she was big time talking about the turning, which is how we need to transform in order to stave off ecological degradation.
Hmm.
So she was big on that. And then she, in her last year of life, started saying, maybe we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking to myself when I heard that, I was like, maybe she was, her objectivity was slightly clouded by the fact that she wasn't going to make it. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Could
Yeah.
be.
There's some pearls to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you want to know what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah. What's up? What do we got cooking?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm going to start by showing you a magazine.
Okay. What do we got here? Emergence magazine. Okay.
Yes. Um, the intersection between ecology, culture, and spirituality.
Ah. Now,
I
as you
am
say, monthly,
this
quarterly,
big book. See how big it is? It comes out yearly,
yearly. Okay.
and I bought it's they've come out with about 5 or 6 of them,
Uh-huh.
and I've bought 3,
Okay.
but they're online. They're
Hmm.
online, so I get it in my inbox,
Yeah.
for free. Ecology, Emergence magazine, and they get their title from the idea that something new is going to emerge from humanity.
Hmm.
It's going to We're going to express a new form of cooperating and ordering our society. They're dedicated to that. They're
Yeah.
dedicated to like a future, um, way for us all to survive.
Right.
And they're really, I mean, they're when I started being aware of them about 5 years ago, it was, a nice article here or there, but now they're kind of flooding the market. It's amazing the richness that they're expressing.
Yeah.
Films, lots of films. I've watched one, but there's about 10 that they've come up with.
Oh, like documentary type films or
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And interesting way about this in the inside. See how beautiful it is,
Yeah.
and it varies a lot. They've got different textures, um, different
Right.
art.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's
And the
cool.
articles are just, oh my gosh, some of these great contemporary thinkers like Joanna Macy. I
Right.
wouldn't be surprised if Andrea Gibson was published by them,
Yeah.
in their pages. Um, a guy named Bayo Kamalafi. He's African. I think he
Okay.
lives in India now, but he's a profound thinker. Bathsheba DeMuth, great
That's
name,
smooth.
isn't it great?
Yeah.
She is up in the Arctic.
Okay.
And she spends a lot of time in the Arctic, but she also is a professor at Brown University. I guess it's the summers that she's up there. And she
Oh.
talks about whales
Mm-hmm.
and polar bears. So just a lot of different things. So Emergence Magazine, um, they also emphasize practices for us to involve ourselves in that can help us evolve personally.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that I engaged about 3 years ago, or
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago now, is they urged us or encouraged us to um, develop a relationship with a tree.
Oh, I think you mentioned this before.
Ah, yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
And so I did. Um, I went out into the park near our old house
Okay.
and walked around and saw a particular tree
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, "Oh wow, that's the one,
Yeah.
big and beautiful."
Yeah.
So they said, "Go visit it, um, all seasons, all 4 seasons."
Okay.
Yes, and I was doing this little bit of thinking. Now I'm really going crazy. I'm visiting a tree.
Yeah.
But I also talked back to that and said, "That's just my conditioning talking.
Right.
I'm going to explore this." Um, so I fell in love with this tree.
Yeah.
It was in the heart. I did research on the 20-acre park that it was in,
Mm-hmm.
and the what they said was it was bought in like 1880 by a industrialist who wanted to get away from Milwaukee.
Okay.
It's 5 miles north of Milwaukee, but at the time that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So it was his getaway and his family's getaway for like 30 or 40 years.
Ah, that's cool.
Um, then they sold it to a tuberculosis sanitarium.
Huh.
So it was a tuberculosis sanitarium for like 20, 25 years. And then it was sold to the city of Milwaukee and is a park to this day.
Okay.
The industrialist was named Kern. His last name was Kern, so it's called Kern Park.
Current park. Okay.
And so as I'm sitting there at the base of this tree, um, I'm thinking to myself, you know, perhaps the industrialist and his wife sat next to this tree as it was little,
Mm.
or a tuberculosis patient sat under its shade,
Yeah.
And I was looking, it's kind of near a busy street, and I was thinking that busy street, when this was a seedling,
Yeah.
was horse-drawn buggies,
Oh, wow.
you
Yeah.
know, and it's slowly all the cool cars. I love cars in the 40s and 50s. I think they're much cooler looking than what's out there now.
Yeah.
Um, so, and the Milwaukee Braves won the World Series in 1957. As the community erupted in celebration, that tree was standing there in silence, and it just, and there's an author named Martin Buber.
Okay.
He has a book called I and Thou. Are you familiar with it?
No.
Yeah, I and Thou. It was published, uh, I think, 1950s.
Okay.
He was a Jewish scholar, a Jewish sage, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I and Thou he says that you can break down relationships that we have into two categories: I and it, and I and thou.
Okay.
And I and it is when you are a subject and they are an object,
Right.
and you experience them or exploit them or use them, or it's just a business like
Yeah. It's
uh,
transactional.
transaction. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Trumpian. which we all have to do sometimes.
Yeah.
And I thou is subject subject. It's
Ah,
an encounter rather than a transaction.
right.
And so that was a book that impacted me mightily to the point that I'm thinking I need to pull it out again.
Yeah.
Um, and as I was sitting there with that tree, I was like, this is, don't call me crazy, but this is an I and thou, subject
Mhm.
to subject experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some sort of subjectivity coming off of this tree. Not that it's a person, I'm not crazy. Uh,
Right.
but there's some sort of subjectivity thing. It has a sentience
Yeah.
that perhaps it's engaging me. So um, we moved away, and I still feel the tug of that particular tree. I tried to find a replacement tree up to where we are now, but I haven't found one yet.
Yeah.
I see beautiful trees around, but it's just not the same as my tree
Yeah.
wife.
Your tree That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
so,
Well,
so
yeah, I was thinking, I mean, so many trees, and yet, um, yeah, there, I mean, then there's this idea of, and this is probably more into, um, stoicism, right? But this idea of to be a tree, um, to just bear the witness to everything that's the world around you and the things that are shaping, and to absorb all that, right?
yeah,
Because you talked about some sort of monumental moments and experiences that this tree was there for, but then I'm thinking, what about the the little interactions that, some a stranger stopped to help another stranger on the sidewalk during a stroll that tree saw happening right there, or maybe there was an, um, not to be morbid, but a busy road traffic incident where there was, you know, someone was fatally injured or had, experienced trauma, that it was there to witness or to, yeah. So,
squirrels and birds.
yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Uh, let's see. Let me see. Oh, okay. We got a comment here from Cats Up. Not sure I know what it is, but I'm going to share it. Um,
Yes.
Thomas Pynchon book coming in October that takes place in Milwaukee. Okay, so that was back in the organized crime era. Cool.
Thank you, hon. Pension wrote Gravity's Rainbow.
Gravity's Rainbow. Okay.
Yeah, big, big, big famous book. I did not read it. I
Okay.
did not read it. It's a big famous book. He wrote some other ones, but that's his monumental one. I've never read him, but he's an interesting author
Yeah.
because he has never like he's never been photographed, and people don't know. You could walk right past him and not know that he's this. You
It's
know,
funny.
he,
So
he
so he has a book, and it's kind of covers some time in the era of organized crime. So maybe this tree out on this road
yeah.
witnessed some shady dealings in
Yeah.
the organized crime era of Milwaukee. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about this in context.
Okay.
Nora Bateson's favorite word um, of our current situation. We have, and I'm going to introduce two meditation practices for us today.
Okay.
But we have, I don't know about you, but I'm hearing more and more about this phrase techno feudalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
You
guy
mentioned that
Kurt.
previous two of our meetings ago.
Yeah, did we? We talked about it.
Yeah.
Uh, this guy Curtis somebody Slotkin, I can't remember his name. Uh, is like a guru to a lot of tech bros.
Yeah.
Plus, there is Peter Thiel, who's the
Right.
CEO of Palantir, um, who's trying to activate what Curtis's vision is,
Yeah.
which is that we will be fully surveilled at all times.
Right.
Our activities, our preferences, our language, you know,
Yeah.
um, our purchases, and then on according to whether or not we're behaving well according to their point of view,
Hmm.
we're either promoted in the power structure of the world or marginalized.
Yeah.
Very cold. It's and they're using AI more and more. AI is in 3 years, they say, going to be more powerful,
Oh yeah.
more intelligent than all of the intelligence of the human race combined.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it will need more and more energy.
Oh yeah. The amount of energy that AI right now, it's insane. I mean, I think about it when I explore because I want to be kind of in the know of what this technology is and how it's being used and can it improve or enhance a quality of life element rather than being this big bad evil entity or a concept, right? But then there's this part of me that thinks, oh, I want it to create a cute, fun name for my uh, this cornhole tournament. So, what's a good team name that fits some sort of theme or whatever, right? Like, as I'm plugging this in and I'm going, damn, how much energy did my little query cost? Like, what was the impact on globally with the amount of energy AI had to use to feed all their algorithm, to feed their concepts, to take my prompt and my tweaks to the prompt and all that work? What was the cost for something
That's
so
really
trivial?
big.
For something so trivial and insignificant?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The amount of water that it needs
yeah,
is unbelievable. Well, so in the midst of this troubling stuff,
right.
techno feudalism, tech bros, Palantir, surveillance, all this stuff, I'm thinking, how do we counter it? And
Mm,
yeah, in my repertoire of thoughts and sources, Emergence Magazine popped up.
okay.
But what are they talking about lately? Because ecology, culture, and spirituality, they're dedicated to the emergence of a new and better and more wholesome way of living and interacting.
Mm.
So I looked them up, and they have a publication for the summer of meditations.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yes,
Through
it's
from emergence.
yes, and it's in the spirit of the beautiful meditation that they guided me to do.
Hmm.
You know, so we're going to do that today.
All right.
Now that we're half an hour into the show,
Yeah, that's all right.
that's just kind of our pace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, with that as introduction, um, are you ready?
Yeah.
Cats up. Are you ready? And we've got another person online here. We had 71 people view our last show.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, all right. So we'll do this meditation and I will read it to you. But
Okay.
before we do, I just invite all of you to just sort of put your hand over your heart for 20 seconds
Mm.
and just do some breathing. You don't need me to guide you, but just do some breathing into kind of getting centered in your heart. Okay, lovely, lovely. And now I will read this to you. It's the first one. It's called kinship time. We are accustomed to thinking of time as the ticking of the clock, a repeating round of numbers and measurements. But time is also made up of relationships, experienced as cycles and rhythms, woven from a matrix of ecological processes interacting in continuous collaboration. A matrix of ecological processes interacting in continuous collaboration. Modern technology has subdued our instinct to create time together with the earth. Yet, our bodies are built to be in conversation with our ecosystem, responding to the world around us via internal clocks. When we attune to the pulses within and around us, time can become an experience of kinship. Find a place to sit in an outdoor space, somewhere where you can encounter the elements and the more than human community. Start by awakening your senses to the sounds, smells, and movements around you. Notice the quality of light, the temperature, the presence or absence of moisture, the opening or closing of flowers, preterally arrivals and departures, the cues in the landscape that shape a sense of time. As you continue to sit, notice how these cues shift, evolve, or disappear. Consider how they might change over the course of a season or a year. When will certain plants emerge? Will the fragrance of this place change? The sunlight? The colors? Focus on a being who shares your habitat, perhaps a plant in your garden, the river that runs through your town, a songbird that frequents your street. Consider how this being might sense time as they interact with the cues you noticed.
Hmm.
Do they engage with the presence of other creatures? Respond to shifts in the light? Attune to the changing state of a plant as it blossoms and fruits? Repeat with other creatures in your ecological community. Spend a day without looking at a single clock. Without minutes and hours, what do you listen and look for to generate a sense of time? Perhaps the fluctuations in light, the waking vocalizations of your family, the smell of dew on a plant, or the presence of another animal's song. How are the rhythms of your day composed in relationship with other living things? How do you feel your sense of time fitting into cycles that exist in the larger ecology of time? And that's the first meditation.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
Did you think so?
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of had one of these weekend nights a couple nights ago. I just went around my yard and kind of just went through a little bit of that process. Um, more or less just looking at the richness and the wonder of each sort of um, being, as this poem says, in my my yard, the maple tree here, our garden bed with some squash, butter or yellowneck and zucchini squash, and some cherry tomatoes. And there was this moment of I don't really care much for tomatoes, but there was this this I don't want to say impulse, but it was almost as though the the cherry plant, the cherry tomato plant, was bearing its fruit as I thought about the process of the time that had been occurring and how it's like, oh yeah, as I've watched this mature from a little a rooted plant with nothing to now having harvestable fruit, there was an appreciation for that said, oh, you're offering me this. What a shame if I don't, accept this offer. And I plucked the cherry tomato and I ate it. And, I just kind of made my way, and I had a lilac bush around my yard. And the lilacs, of course, have already bloomed, and I, I, I can never forget that how much I love their smell when they are blooming. But right now, all I can see is that it's thriving and flourishing, and in lots of new growth. So it'll be an even bigger bush next year. And I just kind of made my way around my yard, and just as I did that, it was just, I don't know what kind of came over me. It was just a sense of being in tune with it. And this meditation
Beautiful.
brought me back to that. And I thought about them because we have a little bit of like a water retention area, but it's full of reeds, and we have like a bunch of little frogs. So in I'm sorry, in a- April-ish, we have the frog mating season, and it's just a beautiful sound and cadence of frogs all night, all day
Yeah,
long. And then now we're starting to see the little baby frogs around our rock bed with our garden areas, and yeah. So it was just this meditation really brought me back to that place, which timing, being thousands of miles apart, and you thought of this poem or this meditation, and sharing it, and it couldn't be more like spot on to what I had
that's marvelous.
a couple days ago. So yeah,
That's marvelous.
interesting.
Subversiveness, some a subversive approach uh, through beauty.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
the
just got
real beauty that's existing out there.
right. I just got some new rocking chairs. I got them, ordered them a while ago, but I put them together so I was able to enjoy them. So I called that my birthday present to myself. Um, so I put them together, and I got some nice rocking chairs to sit out there and just enjoy, and you know
That's
relax
beautiful.
and take it all in. So yeah, I love that.
Beautiful.
It was
And
a good
those of you watching now or through the next 2 weeks, you're invited to take this meditation that I've read, um, and take it outside and
yeah,
sit down with it and listen to it. Or you can look up Emergence Magazine meditation called Kinship Time. That's what this
kinship time.
is called, Kinship Time. So, a way of looking at time that's a little different from, the clock. All right. So, are you ready for a second one?
Yes.
There's two meditations. So,
Hmm. Hold on.
Mary and mystery viewer, we have two viewers right now. I imagine it's either Terry or Corey. All right.
Yeah.
Never can tell. Uh, we invite you to enter into this with us. Ledgers in the land. The earth has an immense capacity for recording the passage of time. The planet's very flesh, crust, rock, sediment, and soil holds memories of the Earth's many changes. Mountains, trees, bodies of water, and sequestered carbons offer enduring testimonies to bygone geologic eons and technological ages. In this way, the Earth is a great self documenting archive, one on which we humans too have inscribed our marks. As our rapidly changing climate transforms the landscapes around us, much of the past is once again becoming visible, reminding us that the land is always recording and always remembering. Starting as far back as possible, learn how the landscape you inhabit came to its current formation, why ancient forces collided and collaborated to form its hills, valleys, or plains, what spells of ice and heat transformed its ecosystems. Make note of some key species that have come and gone from the landscape and how their habits have shaped the character of the ecosystem. What imprints did humans leave on the land? Now, excuse me, consider what vestiges of previous ages can still be found in the present. Embark on a walk in your home place where you might encounter such traces. Perhaps an old growth forest, a historic part of town, a rocky canyon or bluff, or head to a point of elevation where you can observe the topography of your region. Take note of the layers of the past that are still evident in the landscape in its present form. Imagine what your home might be like in a decade, a century, and then 1,000 years. What elements of the present moment might become layers of time buried within the land? What do you think will remain obvious and active? In the examples you note, does time feel linear, multidirectional, spherical, or eternal? So that one has homework, but looking up, the past, etc., the geological history of your region. I think there's actually apps that you can look
Yeah.
at that'll tell you that sort of thing. But it's also just rather than thinking, oh, I've got to now go to the library and look up this, that, or the other thing. There's just a sense of wonder about it too.
Yeah.
Just wondering, oh, what's this place like 1,000 years ago? And what's it like 1,000 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy, David Amram.
Amram. Okay.
Yeah, Amram. Cool cat. Um, Wrote a book called The Spell of the Sensuous. And he wrote another book too, something like Humans as Animals or some kind of name like that.
Okay.
He has a app where you can, and I have not um, availed myself of it,
Mm-hmm.
where you can tap in, and I think it takes you on a walk through
Oh,
your neighborhood and
that's
talks to
cool.
you about the geological time. Also, I think it talks about the stars.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. I mean, I was actually, as you were, as I was thinking of during the meditation there, um, I I'd watched one of these ancient civilizations type documentary
oh
things,
yeah.
comes through, I don't know, Netflix, one of the streaming services. And they talk about during, the end of the last ice age, and there was possible, seafaring folks that were teaching that there was like some themes throughout different civilizations all over the world of this great flood, and kind of using the stars to kind of navigate survival through the great flood. Anyway, and some of the talk about that was there was, one of the effects was the breaking of sort of the glacier that was holding what they call Lake Missoula in Montana. And then once the glacier broke and the dam or the floodgates open of Lake Missoula, it actually carved out much of where I live and
Yeah.
some of these Columbia Basin and all of the rivers that run through our city and kind of carved out western Montana and Washington and so yeah, it's really interesting because I was just sort of thinking about that, and I was also thinking about how much we have that due to the melting of our solar ice caps and the rising sea levels, and once in a while a phenomenon occurs that allows us to see when the water recedes such to a degree of what has been covered in water over time, like civilization and history that um, is lost to us because it's the rising sea levels and land masses, and so it's just really interesting. And in that regard, it made me think of what is the cyclical pattern of our planet. Um, rising sea levels to a point of so much water, not enough ice, and then need some sort of event to then create ice caps that the poles kind of reform, and then allow land mass to be visible, therefore more life to live. And like, for all we know, this could be millions of years in process and making, right? So yeah. So when you talk about time, anything, and I was like, gosh, I mean, 1,000 years. I, and I think about civilizations where we have record of them existing for the last 1,000 years, and say Europe. And I'm like, well, what all is buried and what still is preserved, or replaced? Like my house, I don't see my house surviving 1,000 years. So
Right.
what's gonna be torn down and built over it in that time, or is it gonna be left vacant because there's gonna be a decline in population of humans? Like I don't know.
I grew up in a neighborhood, 1974 we moved in, I think it was. 73 at the latest, probably 74. Um, I lived in another neighborhood before then. But the one that I moved into in 74 at the time was like cutting edge suburbia. It was like,
Hmm.
this is cool. These houses are new and modern, and some of them are like stylish,
Yeah.
looking like architectural pioneers almost.
Hmm.
A couple of them were.
Yeah.
And I drove through there maybe a year ago,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, it's no longer that. It now feels old.
Yeah.
It
Right.
now feels dated.
Well, and to that point, um, we don't make and we don't do things that seem timeless anymore. I was thinking of things that we know have been around for a millennia. For example, in say Europe, in Greece, Rome, whatever. And there's some things that still you can see today because of how timeless they are. But I think about like the New York City skyline, and what skyscrapers are going to be timeless enough that we still uh, memorialize and look at their grandeur and beauty in 1,000 years. Even those modern wonders of technology and architecture and building, are they going to survive the test of time and of 1,000 years of? from now. Like it's wild to think about.
Right.
So
Certainly,
yeah,
probably not. I mean, it makes me think of the Planet of the Apes.
yeah,
When
right,
the guy shows up on the beach and he sees the Statue of Liberty in the sand.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, so kinship time
yeah.
and ledger of the earth.
Leg- Ledger of the Earth. Okay,
A
so the
pair of
first Kinship Time in Emergence magazine. Okay, and then the other one you said was Ledger of the Earth.
ledger. Let me get the exact title here. Kinship time and ledgers in the land.
Ledgers in the Land. Got it.
Really beautiful art. Let me see if I can hold this up here.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Oh
See the people. See the people
right.
in the flower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Um, as antidotes to the madness of our time.
Right.
The imperialistic um, aspirations of Peter Thiel, that other guy, uh, Oliver, did I say his name was? Can't remember. Um, and people like Steve Miller,
Oh gosh.
um, and a lot of kind of sort of hidden dark money people
Yeah.
who really want to colonize our minds. Fighting back against that, we need to be. I read something in. It's amazing how you learn something. Like I learned this in like 1985, so that's 40 years ago, um, and it now comes into play. Carl Jung,
Hmm.
what's the name of that book? Man's Symbols, something like that. He said we need to be as organized mentally, spiritually, psychologically, individually, and collectively, as are the forces which want to destroy us.
Oh yeah.
I think he wrote that during the Nazi fascism
Yeah.
um, era. And I
Hmm.
thought, yeah, here I am 40 years ago, 40 years later, still quoting it.
Right.
Um, I didn't think about it for 30 years, um, but it's. I think it's very, very pertinent and relevant now.
Yeah.
I think that there truly is a very serious and purposeful mission by the people that I've mentioned and a cadre of tech bros and billionaires
Hmm.
to I think they don't mind if millions of us die.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm being extreme, but I think that's just the extremity of the situation.
Yeah.
They don't care if uh, our carbon is used as fuel
Hmm.
for their AI beast.
Right.
Again I feel like I'm being extreme, but I just think it's real.
Yeah.
Um, the We're going to have to be very, very alert, um, realistic, informed about this, and develop a counterculture that effectively resists it.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking today on your birthday.
Yeah. No. No. You're right. Yeah. I've thought about it. I think about that a lot when I think of the framing of by the these folks who would want to control, who want to manipulate, or you know, essentially engage in this sort of indoctrination of sorts. I mean, there's always extremes of every bit of indoctrination, and to be wary of it, to have a healthy amount of skepticism is to protect yourself. Um, and yet, how do we allow people to really have that healthy skepticism uh, in their own camps of what, oh, is this ideology really right? I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some things that resonate with me, but to just sort of blindly accept and not think for myself, that's a red flag, right? Yeah. And if someone's trying to discourage that, then that's an overreach. So
Well said.
so
Well said, kind sir.
yeah.
Hey, Cat's up. Do you have anything you want to say, or the other person who's lurking?
Yeah. Katsup says human nature continues to emerge. That's right.
Mary and I have a lot of fun driving around, seeing people. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. You look like you froze. Uh,
Oh, okay.
Continuing to, we see people and we write their story based on how they look. We just have a lot of fun talking about human nature.
Yeah. No, it's fun. Yeah. Yeah, it is fascinating. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of wonder and mystery there to unpack and to discover. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
All right. So are we at the end?
We are here coming up on the top of the hour. And this is where we have your summary, your recap, debrief.
Well, so um, I went back to Emergence magazine because I'm thinking about this grindingly oppressive agenda
Hmm.
of, it's not just Trump. Trump, I haven't mentioned him today. Not sure. Uh, he's jackass of all jackasses, and he's a
Right.
terrible person.
Yeah.
Um, but he's also a dumbass. Um, I think these people behind him are ruthless.
Yeah.
Well, he's ruthless, but they're also brighter and
Yeah.
more of a danger.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think, how do we counter? So I
Right.
led us to two meditations, and we'll do more. The next 2 weeks, I'm going to read this magazine, Emergence uh, magazine, for more,
Hmm.
another set of meditations.
Yeah.
Um, and also interacting with the world in the Martin Buber
Mm.
I and thou model.
Yeah.
That it's not just a tree to chop down and to use for firewood and a log cabin. Um, we all need that, but um, there's also a I and thou, subject to subject encounter,
Right.
and with animals,
Yeah.
all of them. So um, I'm starting to just think about, how do we react? How do
Hmm.
we, who do we become? Who do we be to counter this this malignant movement?
Right.
And we did these meditations.
Yeah. No,
Do you have
I like
do you have
it.
a summary you'd like to offer?
No, not, I mean, not in particular.
Yeah.
But I think just, you know, I guess the thought of, whether coincidence, correlation, Um, I think generally people, there's a need to begin or to cultivate an awareness, and it starts with just noticing, paying attention, noticing the inner relationship or interconnectedness of things. Um, and I think that just sort of breeds so much more with free thinking and questioning and healthy skepticism. It's just to don't stop noticing, questioning, challenging your own, beliefs, theories, thoughts, biases, whatever, and exploring that. Um, and so, as I think about where I am in my phase of life right now, and it's no coincidence that you know our weekly podcast comes together and you shed some light on things that just sort of kind of nurture that spirit of it. And
Yeah, that's so great.
everything happens for a reason, and just follow those threads that when they come your way, and
Yeah,
explore them. So
beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. Hey, by the way, oh, here he is. Just a second here. We've got a visitor.
You got another viewer?
Yeah.
Well, hello.
That's
Sweet.
Henry. I don't know how he got in.
Henry, thanks
I
for
closed
visiting,
the door
Henry.
an hour ago and apparently got him in here.
Nice. Sweet. Very cute.
All right.
All right.
Well, viewers, thank you for viewing.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
And
Subscribe,
please,
like,
yes,
check us
and
out.
please like and subscribe and share.
Yes, we
Yeah.
appreciate you. Peace.
Yes. Peace. Thank you.